Phil Cameron. I'm the current chef at the German Embassy here in Ottawa. Today we're gonna make hazelnut macaroons for Christmas. Welcome to my kitchen. The things you will need to make the hazelnut macaroons are 200 grams of sugar, 250 grams of hazelnuts that will turn into a ground, almost like a flour, around 30 whole hazelnuts as a garnish, 3 egg whites that I have split. It's the equivalent of about 90 grams of egg whites, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. The equipment you will need is a spatula, a piping bag, you don't need a tip for that, a stand mixer with a whisk attachment, a food processor that we're gonna make the hazelnuts into our flour. If you don't have a food processor, you can use a Ziploc bag and some kind of item to hit the hazelnuts into a finer form. It's preferable to have it as fine as you can. I'll show you the consistency we're looking for later on in this video. And finally, we'll need a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. First things first, we're gonna make our hazelnut flour. So I'm gonna put all the hazelnuts into the food processor. Put the lid on, and I always like to pulse a few times, get the nuts mixed up a bit. And then I'll just put it on low. Now I'm going to check the consistency. I can see that it did ground the nuts a bit, but it still needs a bit of work. So I'm going to put it back to get some work. And as you can see, you have this nice granulated hazelnut mixture. The next step will be to bring your egg whites to a soft peak. So I'm going to put my egg whites in, turn on my mixer at about a medium speed. Now I just want to show you the consistency here. That is about a soft peak egg. So what we're going to do next is we're going to put the mixer back down, we're going to turn it back on, and we're going to gradually add the sugar. And then once all the sugar is added, we're going to let it beat for about 10 to 12 minutes until the egg whites become a hard peak. And I will also show you the consistency of that once it's done. Don't forget to scrape the sides with your spatula and get all that sugar back into the mix so you have a nice and even consistency. Alright, so it's been about 12 minutes, and as you can see what I mean by hard peaks, you see how that peak stays up like that? This is what we call a hard peak. So the egg white does not move when I move the whisk. You can also see the hard peak down in here. It just doesn't move. So that's the perfect consistency. That is exactly what you're looking for. I'm gonna put the whisk back on, because there's one more thing we need to add. We're gonna add the vanilla extract. And we're just going to whisk it in. Go ahead and scrape the sides once again. Always looking for that even and smooth consistency. All right, now that we have our nice mixture, we're gonna go ahead and take our hazelnut flour and we're gonna fold it in. So I'm gonna dump that in. And when I say fold, I don't mean mix. I just want a motion where I'm folding the mixture. So I'm trying to keep that fluffiness from the eggs that we just beat, so that we can have a nice fluffy macaron at the end after we bake it. So I'm just gonna fold it very gently. You can go and use the finger, try to come and get that mixture off because there's still some hazelnuts that probably stuck there. And go ahead, give it a few more folds. And as you can see, now I have an even mixture. So I will then take my piping bag that I put into a cylinder bowl, and I will start filling my piping bag. It's very important that when you're filling the piping bag, that you try to leave the least amount of air pockets, because it will help you pipe the macarons onto our baking sheet a lot easier. There you go. Alright, I'm going to take my baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and I'm going to take my piping bag with no tip, and I'm going to start making little round shapes like that. Some people, when they make macarons, they make circles on their pastry sheet. It's really up to you. It's up to you how comfortable you are about making these. Always try to go in a circular motion, and I try to just mimic the macarons that I have made previous to the ones I'm making right now. As some of you may know, usual macarons are made of almond flour. So this is just kind of a nice little change to the traditional recipe. We substituted it with some hazelnut meal. There you go. The next thing we'll do is we're going to come over here and put hazelnuts just as a nice little fun garnish over here. And a proper macaron, before popping into the oven, you need to let it sit at room temperature for it to create a crust on the outside. So right now, if I touch it, it's very doughy. It still sticks on my finger. In about 45 minutes to an hour, it won't do that anymore, and I'll show you when it has rested that there is a fine crust that will have formed. So stay tuned for that. The secret in this recipe is making sure that you get the hard peaks when you're beating your egg whites. There you go. So I have at least 30 of them with the hazelnuts. The extras, you can try them out or give them to your loved ones. But you have 30 hazelnut macarons there. So I will see you in an hour and we'll talk about the next step. So it's been 40 minutes. I took them out of the oven, and now it's time to check them. So they look terrific. We take a look underneath, nice and flat. They're very, very light. And if I was to break one open, you can see the nice air pockets, and the oxygen has definitely done its work inside, so they're nice, light, and crunchy. So there you have it. Some very nice, light, and delicious hazelnut macaroons, just in time for the holidays.